So up to 90 interns, cramped conditions in a marae, a promised lecture by Helen Clark and much more. None of it has eventuated, or very little. And because they're volunteers, no money to change their flights to return home. I asked the Labour leader, Andrew Little, a short time ago if he thought this was a good look.
Well, it's certainly embarrassing if I'm totally honest. I think this is a project that started with good intentions. I think the expectation was that it'll be a reasonably modest number of people would come here. And then I was certainly advised at the beginning of the week that the people looking after the young interns coming here had frankly overreached themselves. It had got to a pretty bad situation, and having talked to the party about it, I just said, you're going to have to step in, take control, because the primary thing we have to look out for is the well-being and welfare of those young people.
How many young people are there now? How many in total?
I understand it's about 90. I don't have the specific figures, but it's a sizable number. It's way beyond certainly what I had understood a few months ago when people were talking about it, the number would be.
Okay, so you knew a few months ago, did you, that this was happening?
Oh, people raised it with me and said, listen, wouldn't it be a good idea? Look, we've had international interns come and work on campaigns before, and it's a pretty common thing for young people in political parties here to go to the US, to Australia, to the UK to help in political campaigns.
And is that where they're from? Where have these youngsters come from?
Yeah, from the US, from the Australia and the UK, as I understand it.
And why did they come? What did they think they were going to get when they arrived here?
Well, as it was explained to me when this thing was being put together, it was as young New Zealanders going over to those countries do, it was to get involved in political campaigning here, and as general election here. So we've done it. We've had very small numbers of people come here before from other countries. We've sent people to other countries. It was to be that flavour of thing.
Okay. Have they been exploited? Have they been treated in an entirely cavalier and disrespectful fashion?
Well, they clearly haven't been treated satisfactorily. As I understand it, the accommodation arrangements certainly haven't been acceptable. That's why I've said, listen, you've got to, it's their well-being is the critical issue that's got to be sorted out, and that's why it's people from party headquarters has now stepped in and taken control and now sorting out those sorts of things. I mean,
okay, so of the 90...
We have international volunteers before, and it's usually done on a billet basis, and they get looked after, and they help out in campaigning on political issues.
Okay, so of the 90, how many are going to stay on under these circumstances?
I'm not aware that. I'm not that close to it. I know, as I say, party officials, including the General Secretary, Andrew Curtin, are dealing with all those sorts of things now. I haven't had a briefing from him. I got a briefing yesterday. I haven't had one since, but he's been working on this since the beginning of the week and getting those issues sorted out.
Okay. Stephen Joyce has accused Labour of industrial strength hypocrisy, and I'm looking at an op-ed that you wrote for the New Zealand Herald on the 8th of May, so last month. And you say, people are rightly asking why the government hasn't prepared for the record number of new immigrants. Then you go on to say, you wouldn't invite a whole lot of people over for the weekend and have nowhere for them to sleep. But that's effectively what National is doing. It's also effectively what Matt McCartan and Labour have done. And it really is disastrously poor planning. And in the context of Labour's immigration policy, you've shot yourself in the foot, haven't you?
No, there's no link between having an international internship program for political campaigning and immigration policy, which a government has used to be part of its economic growth program. So
wait a second. It's the universal and the particular, isn't it? And it is precisely the point the government's making. Actually, immigration provides us with people who present enthusiasm, energy, and skills that we need in New Zealand. Now, clearly Matt McCartan felt the same way. Over and above that, you are criticising the government for their inability to handle the immigrants when they arrive. Lo and behold, Matt McCartan and the Labour Party have done the same thing. Don't you see that?
What I see is, what I said right at the beginning of the interview, is that what started out as a well-intended, pretty modest idea about doing something we've done in the past, bringing international interns over to help with political campaigning, has kind of got ahead of itself. People have got very enthusiastic. The numbers coming here are way beyond the ability of those people to manage it. Now the party headquarters have had to step in and take control of it and sort those things out. Trying to draw some, comparison with running an immigration policy, sorry, far-fetched.
It's not far-fetched, is it? Because isn't this why we have immigrants? Because they bring skills and experiences and energy that sometimes you can't provide from home. Why did Matt McCartan need these 90 people? Why did you need them? Why couldn't there are a whole lot of young people in New Zealand who could have done this? And the answer you will give is precisely the same answer that the national government is giving, and that is they bring something that you felt and Matt McCartan felt couldn't be provided here.
The way international political campaigning internships work is that young people want to get limited experience in campaigns overseas. So there'll be people from the Young Nationals and people from Young Labour who will go and work for the Republicans and the Democrats respectively, usually, might go and work for the Liberals in Australia and the ALP there, and they'll work for anywhere between 2 or 3 weeks to a couple of months on a political campaign to see what those political systems look like, and then they go home. That's not an immigration policy. That's a political internship program with a little bit of international exchange. That's not an immigration policy. Sorry, I don't accept your comparison.
Labour leader Andrew Little talking to us a short time ago.